Put it on the screen?
Yeah, exactly.
That's down there. You can barely see
Oh,
it.
yeah.
5:58.
Yeah, but we need a clock.
Everybody on this, everybody to see when they're talking.
Well, like, I would think back there so people don't, well, I don't know. I'm just thinking the back that they look up there, they're gonna think.
Yeah. Well, at some point, we're gonna have the big screens up there.
Oh,
Yeah,
if it's in the back, people give it out.
Yeah, on the side.
Yeah.
So they could, if somebody who does the speaking or they can see
public speaking,
themselves
they
and,
can see 3 minutes. Ya no más. Beep, beep.
yeah. Timer.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, sorry. Good evening. Good evening. This is a special board meeting to discuss the district budget and other related items and issues for the 24-25 school year and to take action on necessary business items. Today is Monday, April 29th, 2024, and the time is 6 p.m. I call this meeting to order. Mr. Legarreta, will you please take roll?
Member Gonzalez,
Present.
member Montes,
Here.
member Garay,
Here.
member Legarreta's here, and member Marquez.
Here.
All accounted for.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Will we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the flag of New Mexico? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the state of Mexico, the city of Santo, perfect friendship among the cultures. Okay. Item number 1, consider approval of the agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for April 29th, 2024. So moved by member Montes, seconded by VP Gonzalez. Any discussion before we move on? Okay, all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye. All opposed, say no. All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 5-0, motion carries. Agenda is approved. Item number 2, consider approval of participation in the New Mexico Superintendent Association lawsuit. I will entertain a motion to approve participation in the New Mexico Superintendent Association lawsuit.
What is it about?
Is there a motion? Well, so we can discuss it. Can we move on that first, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can bring,
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that and then we can move.
Okay,
You may have heard about the lawsuit and actually I was supposed to bring this to you guys the last meeting and it just slipped me. But there's been a lot of talk about the lawsuit that was filed on behalf of the Superintendents Association in the state of New Mexico against the Public Education Department. And there's a lot of talk about, what that's really about and a lot of it does follow on the 180-day rule and how it differs from what the legislation was actually done last year when they increased the instructional hours. And so PED came this year and wrote up a new rule to also include that the 1140 instructional hours fall within 180 days. And so so what that's done, it's created a lot of attention, a lot of refiguring of how people operate, especially those districts that are 4-day districts. And so there's a lot of focus on the 4-day districts because this is going to force them to go to a 5-day district. It doesn't really impact us in that regard. However, there's a lot of districts that are signing on board for this lawsuit because it is just another example of the overreach that PED has been pushing. And they continue to do so. And so much so that, you know, there's people that are asking, well, why do we have a school board? You know, if PED continues to have that kind of overreach on us. And so it's taken away local control from us. And so it's not just the 180, but it's also all the other pieces that are tied to it. So there's an accreditation process that we have to go through. And it's just added paperwork. You know, for example, one of the provisions within the accreditation is that it'll be audited like your participation in professional development. And you know, we already have a provision, you know, that holds us accountable through the New Mexico School Boards Association. And so this is just another added piece, you know, but the accreditation piece, we really don't even know what that looks like, you know, and even though we've got all the accountability measures that are already in place from PED as, you know, as even today. And so, but it's a continuation of just the overreach that is out there. And so they did reach out to me and asked if Hatch Valley Public Schools would join them in the lawsuit. And my recommendation is that, yes, we should. I think it's good. I think there's 55 districts already that have signed on. Even the legislators are starting to get involved in the lawsuit. What we were also told is that the different teacher unions are looking to jump on board as well. I don't know what the status of that is, but there was talk of that. And so there's a lot of people that are just not happy with the way this thing has been rolled out.
And the cost, Mr. Chavez?
The cost is it's going to be about $1,000 up front, and then about
Oh,
another
from each district, 1,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then another 1,000 later is what my understanding is.
When
And
did that
so-
change?
I'm sorry,
When we had our last meeting,
that was one.
it was 500 up front, then another.
or maybe it was 500. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Yes. So it's 500 and 500. Yes.
With a lawsuit pending like this, once it's filed, what does that mean for current rules that they've put in place with PED?
So what they're wanting is they're wanting to have a state, and so that everything stays the same as it is right now. And so and then at some point it'll be taken to a judge, and then the judge will rule on the, you know, on the outcome. So right now what they're pushing for is just a state,
Will it happen this year, though?
and that's what they're hoping.
They're trying to push it for
They're
this
trying to
year.
push it because it greatly affects all the
For this
4-day
next
districts.
school years, yeah.
So we don't have that kind of urgency that a 4-day district does. So we're actually good. We have a 5-day district. We're moving forward, and everything that we do is tied to our budget. So we're good to go.
I for one think we should. Just PED, Santa Fe, they don't know our students. We know our students.
And I think it's only fair that we support the other districts, even though, like you said, it may not affect us right now, but there has to be some type of unity
Collaboration.
together and.
Well, you know, the frustration has been you know, PED does things through rule, right?
Mhm.
And there's been several rules that have been passed over the last couple of years. And there's been significant public comment against certain rules that have come up. And PED just moves forward, you know, and doesn't even consider, you know, what people are saying from the field. You know, for example, a couple of years ago, we had the social study standards. And there was a lot of people that were not happy with those, and but yet they still moved forward and got it done. The most recent one that was filed, a new rule that has to do with the school lunch program. And so again, here they are dictating to us, prescribing to us how that should run. So for example, one of the provisions is that our elementary schools have to have recess before lunch. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, that's actually good. However, the fact that they are prescribing how we should do this is really what's at issue here. And there's other provisions within that where we're having to grow some of our own food. And also buy local food that's grown by our local farmers. And again, it's not that I disagree with any of that, but the fact that they're prescribing how we're doing it and what we have to do is what's at issue here. And it's just a continuation of what we're seeing from PED.
Okay, just for clarification, I'm still learning this Robert's Rule of Order, but the discussion comes before we make a motion to even approve and then have the discussion, because
So-
usually we approve it and we can approve the motion and then after that, we discuss it, right? Their discussion.
So the first part is just to bring you the information piece, right?
Mhm.
So that's what I provide. And then you all,
Decide.
again, you all take a motion and a second, and then you have discussion.
Okay,
And so if there's discussion amongst the board members,
okay,
then that's the time to
Okay.
ask additional questions or voice whatever else.
okay. That
I
makes
move
sense.
to approve.
Okay,
I
is
second.
there, okay. Let's see, so it was moved by member Garay, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. This one, I will take an individual vote if there is no further discussion. I will take an individual vote. If you are in favor, say aye. If you are opposed, say no. Member Garay,
Yes.
VP Gonzalez.
Aye.
Secretary Legarreta,
Aye.
Member Montes,
Aye.
myself, President Marquez, aye. Motion carries 5-0. It is approved to participate in the New Mexico Superintendent Association lawsuit.
Thank you.
Okay, item 3, Mr. Chavez, since you're going to go ahead and discuss that with us.
So we have a series, the next couple of items are just different types of bars. And it's the end of the year as we're trying to get things cleaned up and get ready for the end of the year. And so we do have the first item is a transfer bar for 11,000 on line item 11,000 for $300,000. And so my recommendation is for approval, and we do have Ms. Sheila Offit here to stand for questions.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve the transfer bar 1,000 of $300,000.
So moved.
It's moved by, moved by member Garay, seconded by Mr. Montes. Is there any discussion? If not, I will call for an individual vote. If you are in favor, say aye. If opposed, say no. Member Garay,
Yes.
VP Gonzalez.
Aye.
Secretary Legarreta,
Aye.
Member Montes.
Aye.
Myself, President Marquez, aye. Motion carries 5-0 to approve transfer bar $11,300,000. Item 4, Mr. Chavez.
Yes, item 4 is a consideration of approval for cash reversion. And line item 13,000 for the amount of $1,013.50. I do move for approval, and we do have Ms. Sheila Offit here to stand for questions.
Okay, is there a motion to approve cash reversion 13,000 for $1,013.50?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Garay,
Second.
seconded by Secretary Legarreta. Okay, any discussion? The word reversion, can you, does that mean it goes back? I'm not familiar with that
Yes.
term. Yes.
Hi, good evening, Board and President. The reversion is required by law. If
Uh-huh.
there's any balance at the end of the year in our audited cash balance, which takes into account anything that's going to happen between June 30 and 9/30. And that's any payroll that gets paid out in the summer for the prior year. And so at the end of the year, that's outstanding payroll liabilities that clears. There's sometimes accounts payable. We have POs still open, items get posted in the new year that we have to account for on the audit. So what happens is transportation specifically, they look at both accounts payable and payroll liabilities, and then the ending final balance, we have to return half.
Okay.
So there's also an accompanying increase bar
Yeah.
for the same amount. So the half of, I think 826,000, we had $2,026 left.
Thank you. All right. I will call for an individual vote to approve cash reversion 13,000 for $1,013.50. If you are in favor, say aye. If opposed, say no. Member Garay,
Yes.
VP Gonzalez.
Aye.
Secretary Legarreta,
Aye.
Member Montes.
Aye.
Myself, President Marquez, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of cash reversion. Item 5, Mr. Chavez.
Yes, and this one, item 5 is an increase bar for, again, item 13,000 for the amount of $1,013.
Okay. Is there a motion to increase bar 13,000?
So moved.
I move- Okay, seconded, well, first moved by VP Gonzalez and seconded by Member Garay and Member Montes. Okay, I will take an individual vote. If you're in favor, say aye. If opposed, say no. Member Garay,
Yes.
VP Gonzalez.
Aye.
Secretary Legarreta,
Aye.
Member Montes.
Aye.
Myself, President Marquez, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of increased bar 13,000 for $1,013 even. Okay, number 6, Mr. Chavez, item 6.
So again, approval, and I'm going to defer to Ms. Sheila Offit on this, on the PCT, 11,000 to 28,211, and the decrease bar that go with it.
We have had a fund during COVID for Department of Health for COVID related expenses. We purchased vision screeners because the Lions Club was not able to come into the school. We submitted that for reimbursement. At the end of the year, we had outstanding RFRs. It has since been determined that they will not cover that expense. So Nurse Carla does use that. You can't send it back. It's a prior year expenditure. So to correct that and to zero out that account that no longer exists because it was COVID money, we have to move operational $5,000 to the other account. And that will zero it out, but that also means there's a decreased bar in operational for the same amount. $5,000.
And where's that one? Oh, it decreased, okay.
Okay.
Both, so we're doing both at the same time.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve PCT 11,000 to 28,211, accompanying decreased bar and 11,000 for 5,065?
Seconded.
Okay, moved by Mr. Montes, seconded by Member Garay and VP Gonzalez. I will take an individual vote. If you're in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Member Garay,
Yes.
VP Gonzalez.
Aye.
Secretary Legarreta,
Aye.
Member Montes.
Aye.
Myself, President Marquez, aye. Motion carries 5-0 to approve PCT 11,000. Item number 6. Okay, moving
Seven.
along. Item number 7, work calendars, Mr. Chavez.
Yes, we have, as part of the budget, we have to do our calendars. And one of them is the instructional calendar that you all approved last month. And but this time around, it's the work calendars that we've got to get submitted. They are part of the budget. And I'm going to defer to Ms. Shelley Ortega, even though she's shaking her head at me. But she's the one that actually works on them and makes sure that all of our different employees that are in different contracts, that the calendar is clear and it meets the requirement of the contract.
So basically what I do with these calendars is I base this off of the initial calendar that you all approve for teachers, and I build them up based on everybody's different calendar. The 245 day is your maintenance and custodians. 235 is all of us in the finance office and some of the maintenance as well. That's on the back of that. And then we have a 220, which are our 11-month. We have a handful of those employees on that calendar. So I basically just generate one based on their work calendar that they work. Give them the necessary holidays that first initial calendar you approve and kind of build it backwards. That's the best way I can say that.
I do have a question. I noticed like for the 180 days, it does say teachers and EAs, and then for the 183 bus drivers. So like the 220, are those principals or the?
The 220, we have our ag teacher on the 220 calendar. because she does some of the summer stuff during the shows. They have like different shows or competitions and stuff. So she works a 220-day calendar. There's about 4 individuals, 4 or 5 individuals that work on the 220
And
calendar.
Ag teacher from the high school?
Yes,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, Miss Perry, we have our
Okay.
assistant principal I'm sorry, our principal at the
Principal.
middle school works at 220.
And elementary principals, what do they work?
They work at 210.
210?
Those are your elementary principals and your secretaries at the schools. Yes. The 203 is your counselors and social workers that work that calendar. And then we have our 188 day, which are our teacher and EAs, and our 183 days are our bus drivers and food service.
And I'll ask Mr. Chavez, is there a reason why we don't have the assignments or the titles for these? Is there a reason for that? Or, because it's kind of hard for, like, when I see 203, I'm not sure which employees that pertains to, and
I'm not sure.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I know,
Marcus, during our meeting, Council Mr. Gonzalez, they were all listed on there,
oh, they
as they
were.
should have been. And I don't
We-
see why they're not here, but
we
could
have
definitely
record
do
of
that.
That's actually on their salary schedule and on their contract.
Yeah,
To determine which days. So we have maintenance workers on the 220. We have part-time drivers, part-time maintenance. They're on there. We've
Wow.
got multiple ranges of employees on
Okay.
this. So it's basically whatever their position requires of them. Again,
could,
there's only one principal on there, but most of the, and Brandy is a 235,
235.
but
And
most of
assistant
them are
principals, middle
210s.
school, high school,
They are 210,
they're 210s,
yes.
like the elementary principals.
So there's many people on
On
each
there, yeah.
schedule, but it is on their
It-
salary.
I guess what we
schedule.
could do, Mr. Marcus, if you want us to, like, list like the different titles of who falls under what calendar, we could do something like that. Is that what you were asking?
Well, no, yeah, it's just that, I'm just thinking back when I was in the classroom and all of a sudden Ramona says, I have to work. I said, well, you do? Yeah, but she forgot that what calendar she was on, because it didn't say
Right.
specifically which administrators were on 210 or 235. Or, yeah, I mean, I don't know, as a principal on my contract, it says that, and I'm sure it says that for the teachers also, right? But you have, when
All
they look at the
employees.
calendars, they see that it's there, even though it's on their contract. So it's a little easier when you look through all these online, because you guys do post them. I've seen them and I
Yes.
look and I said, well, which one who falls under what? But
Who's who?
yeah, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And like the 235, Mr. Chavez, you fall under the 235?
Yes, sir.
I mean, the 245, excuse me.
No, 230.
Oh,
235.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
oh,
The only ones that fall under the 245 are our maintenance people.
okay.
And custodians.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Maintenance.
Yeah, so
and
maybe that
custodian.
would help me. Yeah, because I just assumed that the 245 would be like central office staff for some reason. No. It's posted, okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right, so what is your recommendation, Mr.?
My
Chavez?
recommendation is for approval.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve work calendars for 24-25 school year.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Garay, seconded by Member Montes. Okay. I will call for an individual vote. If you're in favor, say aye. If opposed, say no. Member Garay,
Yes.
VP Gonzalez.
Aye.
Secretary Legarreta,
Aye.
Member Montes.
Aye.
Myself, President Marquez, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Work calendars for 2024 and 2025 school year are approved. Okay, item number 8. Well, we're really moving along today.
We're on record pace.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Chavez, item number 8.
Number 8, we have the salary schedules for 24-25. And again, this is part of our budget. We've got to submit to Santa Fe our different salary schedules. And so you have everybody from principals to the different directors that we have and so on. And as you know, one of the things that the legislature mandated this year was a 3% raise for all employees. And so we have, that's reflective of this. But I also want to point out, and I'm going to defer to Ms. Sheila Offit here in a second. But I do want to also point out that one of the things that we've looked at is from our hourly employees is that last year, as you remember, all EAs came up to a minimum of $25,000. And but that didn't apply necessarily to all the other hourly employees. So what we've done is we've bumped them up just a little bit more. And so we don't have the compaction that we used to have. And so to stand for questions and to go over the salary schedules, we have Ms. Sheila Offit here to go over that.
Okay, I do have a question. What percent of the total district budget are salaries?
Our salaries?
Salaries, I have it in the presentation I'll be presenting later. 64% of the SEG, but only about 45% of the budget. So the SEG, it's State Equalization Guarantee, there's many other buckets of money in the operational budget. And salaries and benefits together, 90% of the SEG. And I added this up a second ago. 63% of the total budget.
And last year, what was it? I know you I believe in January, you presented that total
In December,
in
yeah,
December.
right.
It was what? Has it increased at all or with the 3%, like the total operating
Yes.
budget? Yeah.
Yes.
So it has increased. So back in December, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Offit, I believe it was at 78% of the budget was in salaries. And right now we're sitting at
90?
just under 90, yes. And we'll explain some of that and what we're seeing and how we plan to move forward.
I have a question for you. How many non-licensed supervisors do we currently have in the district?
Non-licensed supervisors. Three.
Three of
I
them?
believe.
And how many certified directors do we have, licensed directors?
Currently 3.
3?
And I do have questions about the salaries because looking at from the March, the staffing or the assignments, I noticed that there was a support administrator coach and I don't see that anywhere here. I don't know, and I didn't see a job description for that. And then there was a social worker that is making 83,000, but coming out of curriculum and instruction. I don't see that. As a counselor, I don't see 83,000 anywhere. I see.
That's counselors have extended contracts, as
Yes.
Shelley went over on the salary, on the work calendars. So they're on a teacher salary schedule with additional days
Okay.
to add up to the 203 calendar.
And all of them are in the 203, correct?
Not every counselor in the district is on a 203. Depends on the position.
And what position is that?
High school counselor, middle school counselor, all innovation zone staff, IEP coordinator. 203. Vicente Zamora is also on a 203, I believe. It's an extended. I think it's an extended contract. He may not. Shelley? We don't remember. I'm pretty sure Vicente's on an extended contract. We needed them back for planning in the fall. So any employee that comes back, it's an additional 20 days. Audra Bluehouse is also on a 203.
Okay, because I did see that social worker and it was 83 and compared to the other social workers, I was just wondering why a big discrepancy between
So-
the pay.
So one of the things that we do to provide consistency across the board is we look at level license. So just like the teachers, are compensated according to their level of their license. We try to do that with the same thing with our social workers as well.
Okay.
So
So
a
that
social
social
worker
worker-
may be at a higher level because they're at a different level.
And that social worker reports to a building principal because that's what
No.
the job description.
That is most likely a district site social worker.
That's not what it said on the assignment part.
Okay, I guess I'm not.
No, I can go back.
It may have-
There's no such thing as a district
Well,
social worker.
then I'm guessing who it is.
No, I don't know who. I can
yeah.
look it up, but I'm
We
just
have
wondering.
counselors at the high school that are on a 203 contract, which is an extended contract, would be reporting to the high school principal,
Okay.
a level 3 counselor at the high school.
And then there was a teacher making $83,000 when the highest, the other teachers were making close to 75,600. So I'm not sure why the discrepancy. And this one says
It's,
a teacher for curriculum and instruction. I don't know what type of teacher that is either.
it is an
And I don't see that
instructional
in-
coach
It-
that on a 203 contract.
That's not what she's listed under. So I feel very uncomfortable with the salary schedule when there's other positions that aren't accounted for here. And just like the support administrative coach at the high school for 41,000, I don't see that anywhere here either.
Isn't
What
every
is that?
position
It's-
supposed to be accounted for?
Yeah,
Well-
all positions are. accounted for.
Anyone
Can
that
you
is,
can you bring up can you see
Yeah,
the job
sure.
description for the
Yeah.
support administrative coach?
well, just real fast, on the administrative salary schedule is a base salary schedule. That is not what anyone in the district is making.
So. Wait, say that again?
It's a base salary schedule. So everyone in this room on the administrative salary schedule is not that number.
No, I understand that.
Okay,
But what I'm saying, the staff member, the support administrative coach getting 41,000, what job description is that? What is that? I couldn't find the job description and I'm not
It
finding
wasn't
it
in-
here in the salaries.
The job description for the.
Where's his
support
salary?
coaches and-
What would that?
he
person
is
fall
a
under?
part-time FTE. I believe I know who you're speaking about. I think this is not my place.
Oh, okay, no, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to figure these positions out and they're not.
Because we're
here.
talking about individual people here. and
No,
I
I'm
don't
not-
think
I
we should be doing
haven't-
that.
I haven't said anybody's name. I'm just by position, what their
Mhm.
assignments are.
So that is a part-time position, and so it's a contracted by day. So his contract is based on number of days. And so I believe his FTE is a 0.5. It's a 0.5.
So could we see his job description on there?
If
so we
it
can-
was not included, I'm not.
Yeah, we'd have to
sure. We
look.
may have to look for it.
Yeah,
We thought we included everybody, so.
But there is a job description.
there should be, there should be.
yes.
'Cause I don't see it on here. I see teachers.
Well, again, everyone is on that salary
And
schedule
like
based
that
on their
teacher making
contract.
83,000?
That is an extended contract
It's gonna- yeah,
Why?
it's-
And
because
where's,
they are here more days. So they get
and
paid their
where's her,
daily rate.
where's that teacher's job description? Because I look at job descriptions for teachers.
I
She,
didn't- I believe
a
we had
teacher,
instructional
yeah.
coaches in the job descriptions.
she's called an instructional coach. It said teacher. I can look it up. The 83, it just says teacher.
It's a
Assignment said teacher.
assignment.
So you guys gave us
Yes.
the wrong assignment.
Was
They're actually
on
something
the
else.
teacher salary schedule. So if you, it all ties back into iVisions.
Oh, so what does assignment mean? then?
It ties it to the salary schedule. So it says teacher, it's tied to the salary. We can go in and correct if you believe something is incorrect. We can have Sonia go through all employees and make sure everything is correct. Typically, if we have a new position, we choose something with the same salary schedule, same calendar, same, and go across that. We have made updates to that as we've moved along with new positions, but we may have missed one
Well, there's more than one.
or two. I mean, however many, Richard.
Yeah,
If you want
no.
to email us, we can look at that.
I just need to know how much these people are just, because I can, like, for example, if I look at the salary schedule, I know how much a high school principal is going to be paid.
Mhm.
I know how much a middle school principal is going to be paid, a teacher, a counselor. I just don't know how much money these people are making and why they're making that without a job description. And that makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Okay.
It just, I don't feel comfortable with that. I thought I was gonna see that here. But I'm looking for, I know we didn't have these packets before, but I'm looking for those positions on here where those people would fall on here, but I don't see it.
How do we move on from here?
I'm not sure. An IEP coordinator would be a level 3 sped teacher that would fall on the level 3 sped salary schedule. She's working extra days, would compensate that person at her daily rate.
Who?
An IEP coordinator, facilitator.
Uh-huh.
Yes, so the position is again based on a teaching contract with additional days.
Okay.
So
But
it's
they're
in
labeled
their
that.
contract.
Yeah, but there,
Yes.
I see that. It
Yes.
just says IEP facilitator, but this one specific says teacher. Assignment is a teacher. You guys didn't
And that would
differentiate
be an
Um,
error,
oh, okay.
typographical error then. If you would
Oh,
like
okay.
us to create job positions for every position in iVisions, we will do that.
No, I wouldn't. I don't
mean-
want you to do that, but Mr. Chavez, I
If-
believe that before any position is created, that's something that must be created, correct?
Yeah, a position is created, yes.
No, but a job
A
description before
position
that.
is a
Yes, we-
number in the
Yes.
system.
Yeah,
So we have different, positions, some when they're created, yes, there's a job description.
wow. So can we bring those up? That, and I'm not trying to be difficult, but I'm just wanting to know before, and I looked at the minutes from the previous year. And for these positions, I can't find anything in the minutes that there was a job description that was created for those positions.
Then we
And
need
that's
to
what-
rectify that.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't know how.
Well, we can, like I said, we can, if you wanna, if we wanna visit at some point and go over all that. And whatever we need to correct or
So
whatever it is that
whatever's
we need
here,
to do, then
these-
we'll do that.
These positions, these so-called assignments, those are not gonna be. So next year, if we approve this, there's no such thing as a support administrative code, because I don't even know what that is. It's nowhere in the job descriptions or here in the salary schedule.
Okay.
And for this teacher that's making 83,000, we would like to know, or I would like to know, I shouldn't say we, I want to know how she's making more money if she's a teacher than the highest paid teacher in our district.
It's,
That's
it's,
75.
it's usually when people in that type of situation is because they're working more days.
But why? And
I-
where are they assigned to? It says curriculum instruction. She's a
That's
teacher.
the
Where is she
curriculum
assigned to?
instruction office. So the teachers that work in the curriculum and instruction office are still technically teachers on a teacher salary schedule, not an administrative salary schedule. They are teachers. So they are paid based on the teacher salary schedule according to the number of days that Mr. Chavez has determined that they need to be in the district.
And I understand that, but where is the job description for that? Because if I look at teacher, it doesn't say that they get extra days. It says they get 183 or 188 in the job description. So how do you end up adding extra special assignments for these
Right.
people?
We
So
added
I'm just
So
asking-
again, it's one of the things that we look at and we say, okay, what are the different duties? What are they going to be expected to do? And it's usually stuff that has to go beyond the school year, but they're in alignment with the teaching salary.
So how do our employees get those opportunities? Let's say I'm a teacher and I want that opportunity. I want the 83 grand. How do I get that opportunity? Is there an application process or how does that work?
Sometimes there's an application process, sometimes it's an appointment, sometimes it's, there's different ways that people land at each of the different jobs that they hold.
I think for transparency that we should move towards listing them all there so that these kind of questions don't come up in the
There
future.
needs to be some line item budgeting because I don't feel comfortable with these positions that are not listed here in the salary schedule. And the job description for these. And, we need to put this money on what's gonna improve our student academic outcomes. And I just have some concerns. That just bothers me. And I don't feel comfortable with that. I need to know exactly what these positions, like, for example, even groundskeepers. I look for a job description for groundskeeper, no such thing. And then maintenance, the scary part was maintenance, we only have one FTE maintenance person. Yeah, because we have maintenance, we have an HVAC maintenance/maintenance and a driver/maintenance. That's it. Based on the assignments. And I don't know if these assignments were in error, but there's only 2 people that are maintenance. And trying to think, now I realize why things at schools faucets aren't being fixed and things like that, because we only have 2 people that are maintenance, and one of them's HVACs, and that takes a lot of time. The other one's a bus driver, So now I start to realize that's why things are taking a little bit more longer, Mr. Chavez. I'm not sure.
No, we
Yes,
have
I'm-
more, we have
Oh.
more maintenance people.
Again, you're talking about numbers. So
No, I'm-
everything that you're saying is tied to a job class. So we think in terms of numbers, you're saying maintenance workers, 1615 is a maintenance worker. That is going to include all, unless it's 1614, I may mix those. We have custodians and we have maintenance. We have several people in order to get more help for maintenance. When we hired bus drivers, instead of hiring a 4-hour employee or 5-hour employee, we opened positions to say anyone who wanted to work custodial duties during the day to make a 7.5-hour position. Some of those positions are 220 calendars. Therefore, they are making more than somebody who is driving a bus. I mean, that's, you just add up the hourly rate. So it's an hourly rate on the salary schedule. A 1211 is an instructional coach. There are 1211s, and if you flip to the back of the book, you'll see 16 pages worth of data. And that includes all of the salaries for every employee in the district out of these funds. We had funds that are no longer renewed
Yes.
and they've gone away. So those positions have been moved to operational.
Okay, like for example, which positions?
There's 11.5 positions.
Well, what about that community engagement specialist? Was that a grant or is that money?
That
gone
was
away?
the grant.
So where
community
does that
schools.
position go now?
That is an operational now.
And I didn't see the job description here either, Mr. Chavez. That's the scary part. I don't know what
Yeah.
those accountable, how do we hold these people accountable when it's not here?
We
Well-
have job descriptions. We apologize for not getting everything to you. We did scramble. It was a short turnaround. I remember that. We also had spring break. So we apologize if we missed job descriptions. But we will work on that and get that to you.
There is an
Again,
accounting for every employee and there's a reason for every employee.
it's-
And so, if we're missing some job descriptions or that sort of thing, then, we'll go back and we'll make sure that they're there.
So, so could what we're talking about, so the high school principal could actually work extra days and make more than this if,
No, her position is a 235.
okay. So, and this supported, the social worker for this curriculum instruction, how many days does this
203,
go? 203.
the district level position.
Oh, it's a district level.
Yes, she supports all schools.
No, I didn't see that. I just saw that it was a social worker. And those are, I can go get those tomorrow.
So,
Those
so the
descriptions.
job, like on this one, okay, like a social worker. So there's like there should be just one job description for social worker. But then within that, there's different social workers that work different amount of days. So that's what differentiates is the contract, in the contract is the number of days worked. So some may be a 203, some may be something different. Okay, but it's the same job description in many ways. And so we work off of that as well.
But if she's in a district, wouldn't she have different responsibilities and responsibilities?
Well, we're working with kids, right?
Yeah.
We're working with kids at all the different schools. And so we're a school site social worker and we work just with that school site and the kids at that school site. A district social worker is working with all kids, in the district. And so, I guess we could create a different job description that says, district wide or something like that.
Other
But,
duties
but
is
really,
assigned.
but
That's
the
on
end of
every,
you know,
Correct.
and that's on everybody's contract is the other duties.
is
Yeah.
assigned.
So I think pretty much what you're looking to get an answer for is make sure everybody is on one of the.
There are somewhere on there
Everybody-
because a district social worker is very different from a school social worker.
Also
Because you're,
on
because you're even
schedules.
saying that.
Every
the job
employee should
description-
fall- What he's asking is every employee should fall in one of those.
No, my concern is this social worker may not understand her responsibilities or his responsibilities because they don't have a job description. That's the part that I'm concerned about.
And the job
we
description.
You know what I mean?
created one,
Big
we
deal.
interviewed, we had many people that interviewed for that position. She's been here for multiple years.
Yeah.
So there is a job description. She has a supervisor. She's a licensed employee, so she. her supervi-
in here.
It just isn't in that book.
But it's very easy to
So
pull that up,
I
right? If you
don't
guys-
have access to all of Elsa's files and there
So
should be a
during your
copy
break,
in her
Elsa,
file.
you could bring that up for us and that way I can take a look at it.
I-
And also the support administrative coach, I want to see what specifically that entails and before we do.
Yeah, I really think too, I agree with Richard, kind of, if we want to be transparent, we want everybody to be able to see what is here, then we need to make sure it's real clear for everybody when they're looking at it.
It just,
You're also.
the support, yeah, and the community engagement specialist, I did look for that. I couldn't find it. I did see the community liaison, but the community engagement specialist, I wasn't sure what that is.
Oh, and that just may be what
ELL?
Sonia typed into the system. I don't know when we create a position, what she typed
Well, you
in. So
would-
if it's
you
not
would know that with that,
matching
right?
something, yes,
Yeah, okay.
okay. So we can work on cleaning that up.
I don't know where to go from here either, but we have. I see elementary principal, school principal, every single licensed director. Everything is here laid out in the salary schedule, except for some of these positions that. How they came about and what their role is in our district, and it comes out to a lot of money. In our district, it really does. I mean, it's, to me, I just need to know if those positions are still gonna be funded. And why aren't they in this salary schedule?
They're on the teacher salary schedule. That's all I can say. We can add lines on, but they're not administrators. That's what I'm saying. I can't, I
Yeah.
have to create
No, I
a
understand.
separate, we had debated putting them on the administrator salary schedule, but they're not administrators.
Mm,
They do not require an administrative license.
And
They're-
then will that affect the audit? If they see that?
I'm not sure.
No.
No, I don't think that would.
Shouldn't.
Everything we try to do is we try to align to have some consistency with the teacher salary schedule. So level 1, level 2, level 3. And we try to apply the same type of principle across the board so that we have consistency. The only thing different is that some are an extended, what we would consider extended contract, which brings them up to like 203, for example. And so it's still based on the teacher salary schedule, but it's based on 203 days. So that does bump them up because they're working more days,
Yeah.
compensated more. And so,
So for example, like, let's just take a teacher, the highest paid teacher, how many days do they work a year?
A normal
Yeah,
classroom
but-
teacher, 183 plus 5,
180, so 188, correct?
188,
yes.
correct.
And then this one works 205,
203,
203.
an extra 20 days.
An extra 20 days that this person, so that's the difference of the $8,000 for those extra 20 days.
Yes.
And this teacher, Mr. Chavez, curriculum instruction, she plans curriculum instruction for all the district or for those extra 20 days, what does
So
that
if
teacher
it is, if it is a district level person, then yes, they do different duties. So it depends on the position. So for example, we have some that are doing administrative, but not administrative duties. Okay, so like paperwork for PED, we're looking at
Okay.
licensure, we're looking at in the case of one of them, we're looking at the ag education that we're doing. And so each one of them has a little bit different flavor on it. And so yes, but they do have additional duties that they're doing. Curriculum planning is one of them. Yes.
Well, I do want to see those job descriptions. For
You're
these.
working on.
Yeah. So I don't. So these salary schedules, if we do approve them, how do these positions will, since they're not listed anywhere here, technically?
Technically, you've approved the 203 contract, the
Okay.
working calendar.
Okay,
So any teacher on a 203 calendar, we've already approved the calendar.
okay.
So now we pay them the daily rate based on the calendar.
And this teacher, Mr. Thomas, doesn't have any teaching responsibilities per se then? She doesn't-
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes
They
they'll
go
go
into
in,
club, or
yes,
they
sometimes they'll
teach?
cover, sometimes, yes.
Teach one class a day. We've had that. We have.
So she
teachers-
gets one class per semester to teach.
It depends on the. on
So
the
then how would
situation.
you put that on the job description? Because
Exactly. It's other.
if you
tier-
need her, if I need you today. But it's not in your job description, so we're just gonna leave the class empty, because it's not in the job description.
Well, and
But I need you today.
But isn't it, but by the same token. what
But
happens if
that's
they
why
don't-
she's saying other duties as assigned.
And what are the first duties? What is her?
The primary.
Primary.
Primary
Primary.
duty is an instructional coach.
Ooh,
Essentially, it's a 12-11. It is a coordinator specialist. So we could put anybody that's any kind of a coordinator in that code, whether it's in maintenance department or in instruction. A coordinator or a specialist is a 12-11. So most of those employees that you were speaking about are 12-11s or a 12-14.
So could we do this along with this salary schedule? And I don't need names, I just need assignments with these support administrative coach with their salary, base salary, and that would make me a lot more comfortable. To
So
approve.
what we could do, Mr. Marcus, is just like we talked about with the calendars,
Mhm.
put in the different positions that would fall under those. We could do the same sort of thing with the salary schedules.
And if there's not a job description, there,
If there's not a job
it
description, we'll,
shouldn't be, it
We
shouldn't
will-
be there.
we'll need to make,
You'll need to
Yes.
create one,
Yeah.
correct.
right?
Yes, sir. We'll do that.
Would it help if we add a line to the teacher salary schedules that employ teachers, social workers, counselors, coordinators on this teaching license would
Yeah, or like for
get a
example.
daily
this
rate
one-
for their 203 contract?
Yeah, like. social
Or a
worker-
210.
As long as they're up-
Yeah,
as long as
social
they're on the
worker.
salary schedule.
District social worker 203 or something days. So at least I know why they're getting.
It's in a separate
83,000.
column. It's just not.
Yeah,
we
no,
didn't
I know,
print it.
but I was just concerned like, how is a social worker getting $183 and a teacher getting $83,000 when other teachers that have been here for many, many years, for over 40 years are still making 75. I just want to know why that was happening. And I didn't, I mean, that's,
Well, and it's just the difference of the number of days worked.
yes.
And that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, and within the job description, that'd be nice to know it's a 203 contract or 203 days in the
It's-
job
it should be
description.
on the job description.
It should. But are those created?
Are they what?
Are they created? Are they
They're not.
available? They're
You
not.
already
So
know they're not there.
they're not, but else, but
But-
are they honestly or not?
Yes, we
Oh, okay,
post them when
We
we
should-
open the
We
position.
should have one for everybody.
Okay.
So
okay.
I
It's-
do
it's kinda
remember
hard.
seeing one for maintenance years back.
Yeah, well, it says custodian/maintenance. But they report to a school site, so I'm not sure what maintenance, how they report and clean bathrooms. I don't know if that's their job description either. Cause it's /maintenance, that needs to even be separated.
It's the
because they don't
same
report-
job class that.
Yes,
It's
well,
an
class,
accounting
but what's
code.
their
and
job
so-
description?
Right.
I could be a bilingual teacher, but a regular teacher, it's very different. You know what I mean? You'd have
But you
different
would be the same
responsibilities.
on your
Yeah,
contract.
I understand that, but the
It's-
maintenance people don't go and report to a building like their job descriptions for custodian says. They report, they're there, they hang up flags, they report they open the building, so all our maintenance that are maintenance, they go open up buildings, school buildings, it says school buildings.
Custodians.
Yeah, but it
There's
says.
maintenance grounds. There's two salary schedules for,
Yes,
you've got
so it just needs to be a
custodians
little more.
and maintenance and grounds.
if you would like, Mr. Marcus, we can do an audit of all of our job descriptions
Yeah.
and, we can sit down and go over all of them, make sure that everything's in there. We can even have a work session if you would like.
Yes.
I would
You
be
know.
more than happy to contribute to that.
Yeah, and so that we can get
Maybe
through it.
update all these.
Yeah.
Update all of them.
You
all
know,
of them.
we can definitely do that, make sure that they're consistent and they have the information that you're asking for.
And they're responsibilities, roles and responsibilities.
It's
It's-
essentially a teacher on special
It
assignment.
has been, Elsa stepped out. But I think in my previous conversation with Elsa, she said it's been several years since we've had like all the revamping, like an audit of all the job descriptions. It's been a while.
And before you asked for them, we actually had discussed reaching out to the REC.
Yeah.
To go through them with us, and then you asked for them, so.
That is one of the duties that they do. They
Yes.
helped, I believe, Silver City, do their job descriptions.
And with all due respect, Mr. Chavez, too, I mean, like these, I don't remember these positions in prior years. But according to board policy, it says before establishment of any new positions, the superintendent will present a job description to the board for the position that specifies the qualifications and the performance responsibilities.
Okay.
And that hasn't happened. I looked at the minutes. I could not find them. And that's for professional staff and for support staff.
Okay.
I think we need to work on these.
Yeah.
ASAP. ASAP.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So this makes more sense. So a district social worker is also the family support liaison.
She works with multiple programs, yes.
Okay. And then for the support, Ms. Ramirez, did you find a support administrative coach?
I don't think so.
Oh, that was that,
No,
was that ever created?
I think Mr. Chavez, saying that they'll work on creating something.
So if policy wasn't followed with regards to expanding some of these positions, how do we rectify that at this point?
Well, we could go back and we can bring up whatever has been created over the last couple of years and go through the process again.
I think that's probably the best thing to do, because if policy was not followed, we are legally bound to follow board policy as written in there. I think that's something we should look at doing moving forward.
Note that. But these positions that were assignments, for example, Mr. Travis, we're still gonna have a support administrative coach this year, this coming school year, 24-25.
You know, we're evaluating every position right now. And as we go through the budget and the presentation, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And but we are looking at every different position, as mentioned, we're at just under 90% or right at 90% of a percentage of the budget and staffing. And so because of that, we have to look at everything right now and see, what we're going to do to bring down. We have a plan that we're hoping to implement, and we're working with PED. As today we started making those revisions, and there's a lot of information to go over, but that'll come later in the presentation.
And for the salary schedules, Mr. Chavez, would it be appropriate to put stipends in here, like for example, bilingual teachers? So I do realize they receive a stipend, but where would I find that, or they're not getting it this year? The coming 24-25 school year.
So the bilingual stipends have been really, really tricky because in the past, what we've done is we funded that out of the rural education grant. And there's been years where we get the grant and then other years where we get it late. And so we have to, because we do put it in additional compensation in their contract, we
yes.
have to look at, every year, see where we're at. and that sort of thing. And so we're looking at that, but you know, we could put something in here somewhere that
Because I know
bilingual
other districts do say
teachers,
bilingual teachers.
additional
$3,000.
compensation.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
And thinking about the money, and I'm just asking about all these other support, administration and all this other money. And still, I don't see any kind of stipend for math and science teachers. And I know we had talked about that.
Yeah.
But if we really want to make an impact for our students, our money is, I mean, and I'm sure a support administrative coach is a great thing. But in my opinion, math stipends, $3,500 for math teachers, science teachers, get them here. Our kids, and you've seen the test scores.
Mhm.
Our math scores are terrible.
Yep.
So how do we get this other money that we're spending on this, and on teacher, I'm sure he does a great job with curriculum instruction, but could that money be put to better use for math and science stipends to get those teachers to come here?
Mhm.
I know at the middle school, they were having a hard time, even at the high school, getting math teachers.
Yeah.
And some of those kids had subs for a majority of the semester. So I don't see any of that in our salary schedule, and maybe it's somewhere else here that we are gonna give some
See, and
type
I
of
don't see
stipend.
that a $3,500 is gonna make me change my mind from Las Cruces to Hatch.
It-
Oh, it'll
It
make you
will,
change your.
it makes you
It's
change your
really
mind,
not
it really
change your
does.
mind.
And I've talked to plenty of
Because-
teachers and it would.
That won't
mean,
cover your
people-
gas.
Well, there's a bus, remember, there's teachers that take the bus now.
Mhm.
So no, I'm telling you that gives you a little more incentive. And then not only that, that may pay for your gas, but the smaller class sizes. No, I've talked to teachers. I know several teachers in Cruces just with the behavior, the class size and stuff,
So why
But
are
if they're
they here
getting-
now?
because they're getting the same amount of money. Or maybe even a little more. You know what I mean? So think about
They're
that.
getting more in Cruces.
And in
Yes.
Chelsea.
I'm
So
gonna
they-
make a suggestion.
But that's what I'm
Mr.
saying,
Fuentes.
35 is not gonna make a difference.
Come visit with Mr. Chavez in his office, all of these, and work on whatever it is that you guys have to work on, so we can get together and start working on the other stuff that's needed for the district, especially when it comes down to the salary schedules. We'll take care of that. What else is it that you would?
Wow, just, I was
Mr.
hoping to see
Marcus?
that.
Would that line be sufficient for you to feel more comfortable with this salary schedule?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you want me to add anything else?
Nope, that looks good. No,
Okay,
that,
so that is on all three teacher
Okay.
salary schedules.
yes. Perfect,
So
thank
everything
you.
else,
Yeah,
we'll just work on.
we can work on, but if we approve this, can we still go and see if we have money for those stipends for those math and science teachers?
Absolutely. I mean,
And typically that comes out of a grant. So it would not be presented in the operational budget.
But that
you
couldn't
would
come
be
out of
seeing.
our operational budget, the
It-
stipends?
Could, but ideally that, again, we're at 90%.
No, but okay,
So-
so, and this is just,
Yes.
this is me looking at the assignments and then after this, I promise I'm done. But to have a support coach earning $41,000, a social worker $83,000, when we need our students math, I just feel, Mr. Chavez, that money, if we need to use grants, and if we can't find the grants, tell them, sorry, like that support administrative coach, look for a grant. Use the grant money for these positions instead.
But so you're saying we don't have math teachers right now? Or you're gonna fire the math teachers you
No,
have
we
now
have-
and
no,
bring somebody
I'm not
else?
saying that, but the math teachers, hopefully we have.
I mean, that's what I'm
Right
saying.
now,
We
we're
already
staffed.
have them, they're
Staffed,
there.
right?
yes,
They're there, but let's hope that even if they're already there, $3,500 for their positions, I think it's very, very appropriate in our district to make sure that they're here, we keep them here.
Oh, no,
Those
I
math-
understand
no,
that,
no,
but
but
how
no.
is that gonna change?
It doesn't.
If I only teach my way, $3,500 is not gonna make me teach any different.
Oh, yeah, you know what? It'll make you, I promise you'll want to stay here and that does.
I'm
they-
already here.
That
Is
doesn't
is
matter.
what
A
I'm
lot of them
saying.
leave. I'm telling you. That is something, well, the same way then, why give our bilingual teachers the $3,000 already here?
So
Same
it's
thing.
additional compensation.
Yeah.
So again, you know,
Math and
I,
science.
I think with, it's hard to compare sped and bilingual.
Yes, and Sped
stipends
already
against-
gets, Sped
know,
gets a stipend,
because,
even if they're.
You know, and so they do get more, they do
Yes.
get additional compensation because their job is more challenging.
Mhm.
In special education, we've got our special needs kids that have, you know, that it does make
Yes.
it more challenging, and a sped teacher does work harder in many ways. It's more challenging. We all have teachers that work hard for our kids but bilingual is another one.
Yes.
You know, because we're spending a lot of time going between the two languages, it is more challenging, you know, with bilingual. You know, for math and science,
Well, it's a unique district.
you know,
Right.
it is. And what I see with that is, you know, there used to be a grant from PED for hard to staff positions, and it did focus on math and science that you could use it for that.
Yes.
You know, we could definitely look at that. You know, I think though that we would have to make sure that we have some type of consistency. Excuse me, with all of that. And so we can definitely look at that. And you know, nothing's set in stone right now or anything like that. But you know, one of the things that we have to work on first is, well, first we have to approve the budget, right? Because we got to get that submitted, okay? If there's some things that we need to look back, we need to go back and we need to do whatever revisions you would like for us to make, we can certainly do that.
Okay.
But the other thing is once we get the budget under control, then we can start looking at different compensations, and we can look at, you know, what can we do? You know, what can we afford? You
Yeah.
know, and just like we always strive to with our bilingual stipends, because we were funding them under the rural education, there was, you know, what we wanted to do is push that up even higher, but we weren't able to.
No, I
And so,
understand.
because we just couldn't, it didn't cover the rural education. In fact, we have to supplement out of the operational, for the rural education, because we're not getting enough to fund all the stipends. But we can definitely look at that, and we can see where we can pull money from. And, you know, the budget's huge. There's
Yeah.
many different line items and many different factors that we have to take into consideration. And so, for example, one of the things that we have to do is we have to anticipate that every employee is going to be at the highest rate of benefits, you know, because, you know, we have to be prepared for that. And so, but we also know that once the year gets going and enrollment is cut off, then we can revisit that and we can see, okay, do we have a little bit of money that we can move, and we can do a transfer bar and to move into different compensation pieces. Those are all the different things that we can do. We work, you know, the budget is like a moving target. It's like a working document. It's always moving. That's why every board meeting we have bars for you to approve, you know, increase bars, decrease bars, maintenance. And it really is something that we're always looking at, always having to stay on top of. But yes, we can definitely look at that and see what we can project and what we can do.
Know that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So I will entertain a motion to approve the salary schedules for the 24-25 school year.
So moved.
Moved by Member Garay,
Looks like everybody else is against. it,
well,
so
I guess you don't have to. If
Yeah.
not, we can table that for next time.
Yeah. How soon
It's
can we
due.
move on all this?
Well, okay,
That's why I'm asking if that line is.
Yes.
different
Yes,
for
okay.
the-
but you did agree that you're gonna give us a line item with all the assignments and kind of like what you did for the March, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We want to update the titles.
Yes, and the positions and
Job
And-
descriptions.
the job descriptions. Yes, and just like this, exactly. Yeah, and that's what I was hoping to see with the salary, plus the salary schedule, plus this. I didn't realize that.
Never present
Okay, I'm sorry.
people's names and their money in a public forum like this. We've never done it. So we presented it to the board at the last meeting. I can get up there and do.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is, how did you, no, I didn't expect you to show this, no, but to put it in our packet, because how did you give us this if that was a public meeting the last time?
Yeah, I was very uncomfortable doing it, but it's public information.
Yeah, it is. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So what's
It'd
the
be
difference
open to the
between,
public.
Yes.
but that's what I'm saying. So we got it last time. So that's what I was.
You
expecting.
specifically asked for it last time.
Oh.
That is not
okay.
what we've ever approved for salary schedule. Anybody off the salary schedule, say they've worked 40 years, they are not on there. Because if we have a 40-year salary schedule, a new person coming into the district with 40 years experience will get paid for 40 years experience. Currently, they get the bottom
20.
line.
Yeah.
Yes,
At 20, right? It's got. 20.
each one is different.
22.
Not all of them are the
Yeah.
same.
Okay, yeah.
And so we've never presented names, numbers, any of that here. This is a salary schedule based on
Yes.
like an overview of the position.
Okay. So what you're saying is the public could ask for what we get. We would have to present this to them?
They could, it's an IPRA request. They would go, we'd send it to our
Okay.
lawyer. They would look at it. You want
Yeah.
an IPRA request, we will send it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Did you get a motion?
not yet. I'm looking for a second.
I made a motion.
Yeah, motion.
A second.
Okay, seconded by Member Montes. Okay, I will call for an individual vote to approve the 24-25 school year salary schedules. Member Garay,
Yes.
VP Gonzalez,
Give me 1 second.
Clarification on your vote on this.
we're thinking. So you were thinking of amending to state that the salary schedules will include the line item per employee? Is that something that we could?
With,
Get
with the.
This is what PED has asked us for.
Okay.
What we've presented to you is what's
Oh,
required by
for
PED.
PD. Okay,
This is our budget. This is a piece of the budget.
okay. Okay. So we vote for this and then we could ask as the board. for
You
that.
could ask for that,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so do I have a second?
I did.
Yes.
Want a second? Okay, that's right. I'm taking the individual vote. Member Garay,
Yes.
Secretary Legareta,
Yes.
Member Montes,
I,
VP Gonzalez,
Aye.
myself, President Marquez, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Motion is
that.
approved.
all that information that we're asking for
Yep.
as soon as possible.
Yep. So we're gonna start working on it. Let's get through the budget.
Yeah.
Let's get it approved because, it's, it really
It's
does
due
take.
before the board packet goes out for the next meeting, because the next meeting's on the 8th,
Yeah,
is
the
that
8th.
right?
Next week. Yeah.
And
Right.
so we will be
do it.
working on budget this week, if that's okay. The
Okay.
June meeting.
Can
Mr.
you and I visit and
Yes.
go over that information?
Yes,
And then,
definitely.
because we might not have it ready for, the next packet for the board meeting
Yes.
because
Will not.
it'll go on before.
Okay,
So if you and I can visit
okay,
and go over all that information, we can work on it, get it, presented to the board for the June board
June.
meeting, if that's okay.
yes.
And,
definitely. Thank you, Mr. Travis.
but like I said, if you and I can work together on some of that stuff, then, we'll start working on it. And we can provide you an update as to, the progress.
Okay, I
Okay.
appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Chavez, item number 9, approval of the operating budget. for
So the
2025.
operation budget is,
Whew,
it's been quite challenging this year and so I'm gonna go over why. And I believe in your packet, you have the 910B5, which is, as you guys know, that is what our budget is based on. And so it is all our counts from our reporting days from 80th and 120th day. It's all the membership, and then the membership that then translates into a factor, or a factor is used to calculate the number of units. And so in the 910B5, what I've done for you is I've put the 23-24 910B5 and what we were, how we fared with that. So did we increase? Did we decrease? And what we're finding is a lot of decreases in our units. And so we've been working really hard to make sure that we have the correct information. What we have found is that there's a lot of errors in our reporting. And so I just want to explain, we don't know exactly why. However, this year's been an extremely challenging year, and Ms. Ramirez can attest to that. As far as our numbers and what we submit to PED. PED this year went from stars to Nova. And so with that, there's been a lot of issues in the extraction of data from each school district. And it seems to be that just in talking to different people from around the state, PowerSchool, those districts that are using PowerSchool are experiencing a lot of trouble with the data. So one of the things that we have done is we've looked at our 910B5. We went down, we looked at where were the decreases. We've had decreases in almost every different item, but the ones that are really, really impacting our budget right now is special education and bilingual education. And so we are in the process. I've contacted Public Education Department. They have opened up the Nova window for us to be able to make corrections to our 80 and 120-day data. And so that is what we're currently really working hard to make sure we get the correct information. Once we get that inputted, they will reissue a 910B5 with the correct information that we need.
And what reporting dates were those?
The 80-day and the 120-day.
And they were incorrect, or they were not
So
because of the
the
changeover?
extraction, we're guessing that the extraction just wasn't, didn't pull correctly. So for example, one of the things that we discovered today was that some of the numbers that were on bilingual, there was no data for one of our schools.
Hmm.
And so we're trying to track down to see if it's on our end or if it's on their end. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're investigating to see what is the issue.
And did other districts?
So
in the
I've
same
talked to
situation, or?
I've talked to 7 different districts from the
Districts?
region, and all of them are reporting that they're down in their budget. And so a lot of the superintendents right now are looking at their budgets, looking to see why do we have a decrease. And so, as you know, there's been several increases that we've had to deal with. And so one is the raise, the 3% raise. So that impacts your budget, and which is, deserved. Don't get me wrong, but then we've also have increases to the benefits and also risk insurance. And let me just target risk insurance a little bit, because that has increased up to 30%. Okay, in just 1 year. And so what NMCA is reporting is that the reason they're having to have these huge increases like this is because of the different lawsuits that are happening across the state. And so our insurance is going up, and so everybody gets affected by that. And so what they're reported, what superintendents are wondering is, was the $200 increase to the unit value, was it enough to cover the expenses? And superintendents are saying right now, they're thinking that maybe not, maybe it wasn't enough to cover everything. And so we're still in the beginning stages of trying to figure out, was it enough? And is that money flowing down from what the legislature approved? And is it going down to PED? And is that money actually flowing through to the districts? And we're still trying to get a better picture of what's going on. But specifically to our district, the 2 areas that are really impacting us are SPED and bilingual education. And so we're looking at if we've done our math correctly, to the tune of $1.1 million. That we feel like that the data that is incorrect is shorting us by that much. And so that's a big increase. So you heard Sheila talk about us being at 90%. That's a big part of it, is that the data is not correct. And so that's why the urgency to get that done, because it is impacting our district budget significantly. And so those are the two areas that we can really look at to make sure that we can bring that down. We are projecting that we can get it down to about 83%, which is still healthy, okay, and still a healthy budget. You know, the rule of thumb has always been, that I've always been taught, is 82%. You want to get to 82%. So 83, you know, we're pretty close. And so we can continue to look at that. So that's what you have here in the 910B5. We right now, as it stands, even with the errors, we're down about $300,000. Okay, and so in the big scheme of things, you know, $300,000 is, yes, it sounds like a lot of money, but you know, if you look at you know, a level 3 teacher, for example, you know, with benefits, that's probably about 3 positions, you know, of teachers. So while it sounds like a lot, it's when you look at it from different perspectives, you know, it's manageable. And so that's what we have to go off of, because that's what we have today. We're hoping that the errors will be resolved and that we can report back to the board, hopefully by June, and give you a better idea of where we stand with the budget. And so with that, I'll turn over to Ms. Sheila and Ms. Shelley to go over more of the presentation and where we're at.
I'm trying to share my screen again.
What you got, Sheila?
I have a presentation. Presented a similar presentation for the last 5 years. And share. Okay. Here we go. 24, 25. I'm already speaking in 25. It's kind of hard. So operational funding, we know that is generated by the SEG, as Mr. Chavez just went over, and that's a statewide funding formula, which allows all schools in New Mexico to be funded on an equal footing. A lot of school districts in other states really struggle if their tax base is different than, you know, a more affluent area. I lived in Colorado, and it was definitely, you had to pick where you wanted to work because the insurance was not the same wherever you worked. So large school districts could provide stuff. So we're very fortunate in New Mexico that we do have statewide insurance. Same thing with para. I'm sure a lot of states, it's based on your local government, your local tax base. So glad to be in New Mexico. Factors on the 910B5. So Mr. Chavez showed you, you can see that there's a factor that multiplies towards the units. You get a new, like a unit value, multiply against the unit value, and you get these amounts. So 80-day and 120-day averages, again, we do believe this is low and are working to update some of these things. So special education needs, again, this is one of the areas we're looking at correcting. But special ed never covers the cost of special education. Same with bilingual. This is a drop in bilingual. And again, we are working on updating that. Elementary fine arts, we generate 163,000. We currently, how do I go back?
And now we bring up, Mr. Chavez, are we still doing the same educational, the bilingual program? Is there a reason why we dropped? Did we change up the program in some way, or it just again back?
So the bilingual program, you know, currently we're operating in a dual language model for the elementary schools and a heritage model in the secondary school. And the reason we do different models is at the secondary, it's a lot more difficult to run a 3-hour program because of staffing. And so we always run the staffing, and with dual language, you have to provide the 3 hours. It's non-negotiable. So what the heritage model does, it gives us flexibility to be able to count the kids in either 1, 2, or 3 hours. And so, of course, our hope is that we can take full advantage and get to 3 hours.
Yeah.
But there's scheduling issues and things that arise that sometimes we drop down to 2 hours. And so we don't have any 1 hours because 1 hour is more for enrichment type programs. So it's either 2 or 3 hours. Yeah.
We do get a substantial amount from rural and school district size adjustments and then at risk. And then additional days by adding the extra. Actually, we're adding 8 days at the elementary school and 5 days at the secondary school based on the rule with 30 and 60 hours. So we are able to capture some of that and generate some funds. We are only adding 2 instructional days, which are the ones you approved last meeting on secondary to have remote days. So that is added. So there's the SEG. Oh, okay. We looked to the board. I mean, we've been working on this and we've met with the finance committee twice. And we did do community surveys and sorry, I'm having an issue with this. Staff input, staff surveys, and then we always go back to our facilities master plan and preventative maintenance plan to look at the capital projects that we need to be funding. Community survey results, the top items that were selected were career tech, student support services. I found that very interesting. The parents believe we need to be spending money on student support. School safety is always in the top 3. Work-based learning opportunities. I believe they appreciated the opportunity the last 2 years to have students able to work during the day. Salary increases for teachers and the bilingual education program.
And number 2, student support services, can you describe that or give me a description of? What?
Counseling, social work, the food bank, clothing bank, those are support services in the district. That we're providing community schools. We've been meeting with parents often about health services, mental health.
And
We're
they did
still-
say they need, that was
Parents.
something that they
yes.
were satisfied with and kept.
No, they asked
No,
for
they
us
asked
to
for more.
budget money towards support services.
Don't we have social workers and need?
We do.
I mean,
What they're
each-
saying is this is what they value.
Yeah,
This is what they want.
Okay.
And so this is what they want to see reflected in the budget that we continue. If we're providing the services that we continue to provide the services. But, because of the way things are ranked, we also need to see, do we need to offer more? That's a question that we can ask
Yeah,
ourselves
yeah,
is,
yeah,
do we
yeah.
need to offer more or not? And, that sort of thing. And so, as far as number 2, and the support services, we still have kids that are not in a good place mentally and emotionally. And we see that reflected in, almost on a daily basis. And I think if you were to talk to our principals, they would say the same thing. They're the ones that are having to deal with it, directly. And
and I know it's hard. When do you make that change from social workers to actually, unless they get that certification to be counselors, but instead of a social worker looking at school counselors.
well, and
And they're hard to find. I'm not saying
they're
that they're-
extremely hard to find.
But-
Yes, sir.
Once again, if that's still a big concern.
Right.
How do we get the social workers to address those concerns? And
So we have to turn to our outside resources. A lot of times we're having to find, resources outside. And whatever we can take advantage of. And so there's all sorts of different services, a lot of different
Now, is Mecca
Community.
Therapy still thinking about coming into town?
they're already
They're
in there.
there.
isn't it? Yeah.
But I mean, with more support.
Yeah,
Especially,
I-
not just the elementary level, I'm talking. We have a lot of problems mentally at the high school level.
Yeah.
Which you would think not, but we do have a lot.
and Mexa does provide
So we
counselors,
need
their
to-
physical
I
therapy.
think
and-
I haven't
Yeah.
talked to Jeff in a while, and
Yeah.
so I don't know what their long-term plans
but-
are. My understanding is that it's all focused on the littles.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
we need
Yeah.
to start covering all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Right.
Because they all have needs.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Staff survey results, similar, school safety, of course, salary increases for all. I thought that was nice that it was the same. It wasn't, we asked separately for administrative and non-teaching and teaching, and they were equal. Mental health services and student support services, two separate items
Mhm.
were both ranked in the top three.
Yeah.
So they were tied, actually tied for number three, because salary, both of those were tied for number two. CTE and work-based learning. And so our staff and our parents are in alignment. Oh, sorry, school safety is on there twice. That's an error.
That's because it's really important.
It is really
very
important.
Really important.
Do I need to go back?
No.
I hit the wrong button. Okay.
You're good.
Critical thinking, we asked parents also, on our strategic plan, we have some items that we believe students would benefit to learn, and these were the top three that our parents wanted for their students. So I just thought I would share that with you, informational.
Excuse me, how are those questions framed? And that's what they want, or they want that to continue? Like, is that a concern that it's?
What is
not happening?
important to your,
Just
to
important
you
For you, okay.
for your child? What would you like your child to be able to do when they graduate? We've asked this in multiple formats. I am not a teacher. Again, I'm a finance person, and so maybe I'm not gonna write this the same. I tried to
No, I
make
just
it
wanted to speak
user friendly, and I do get it translated into Spanish, and that is submitted. So communication, goal setting, and perseverance, that was one item as we have it. This was directly from our strategic plan. Is how I presented this. The others are which areas, which program would you like the district to fund, or which one do you believe needs to be, I don't remember exactly how I framed it. Did you fill out the survey as a parent?
Oh, yeah, but I can't remember what they were.
I know. So, okay, so I am not an analyst to write stuff out. Here are the budget summary by function. So we've got 11.6 million going directly to instruction. So that is almost half the budget right there going to the classroom. 21 and 22 are support. 21, it would be your counselors. And this includes benefits. This includes anything that is coded to that function. 21 would include all of our ancillary support staff, all of our contract services. I can send you the presentation.
Yeah,
if
I
you would
can't see
like.
it.
Oh,
I'm getting old. I can see it. It's just,
Okay.
I can't read. It's blurry.
oh, okay. Well, so the top one is the half. Okay, then we go around the circle, 21, 22. 22 is Andrew and his team, and Audra and our librarians, library department, anything coming technology. A lot of what we do is in 2200 software for classroom materials, like our what is the code? Online digital subscriptions, that is in the 1,000 because that is directly related to instruction.
I'm sure Andrew's
So-
making half of that, right?
So 24 principals, supplies, PD for principals, 25 is business office and district level expenses. Oh, I missed 23. 23 is principals, board, travel, a lot of items that are at the district level. It's district support. So each of these means a little different thing, but they're all pretty similar. Your 20 or your 1021 and 22 PED basically sees that all as instruction. So we are all the way to this green line right here. All of this is directly impacting students. Then we have some administration, and then we go back to this dark section here is maintenance, facilities, grounds, staffing, equipment, repairs. Most of our repairs comes from the SB9 and bond. But we do, all of our staffing is here. We cannot pay for staffing out of those other funds. 3,100, this is new, it's a very small portion right here. But we do need to cover we may have to cover portion of food service. So that is the 300,000 bar that you approved tonight. It's for food service. We discussed it in the finance committee meeting. We are working with SFE to bring down costs as they are our contractor. And then the 4,000 is 1.4 million in buildings and construction. So to move the portables, I budgeted money here in buildings to move the portables if we determine to do that. And we are able to remodel buildings for instructional purposes out of operational. Also, we have a very large cash balance, and that is somewhere to put it. So we have the building across the street as well. So that is budgeted there. We owe 750,000. So. Budget, oh. See, I did it again, Andrew. Okay. By object, I thought you might want to see this page. 51 is your salaries, additional compensation, overtime expense, 10.6 million, which is only 45% of the entire budget. As I said, that is not the SCG, that's the entire budget. 52,000.
Sheila, can you start the slide show so that
A
it'll,
little bigger.
so it'll get bigger?
From
Yes,
current. Okay, a little bigger.
there you go.
Okay, I just can't touch it. 52,000 is benefits, 53,000 would be your professional development, contracted services. 54,000 is construction, maintenance related items, repairs. 55915 would be our contracted services, athletic stipends for anyone working games, or the athletic, what we pay out to hire our game workers. Those people would be in that code. 56 would be supplies and materials, software, a lot of classroom materials, instructional materials, adopted materials. That's all in the 56, which is why it is so large. And this would include all functions. So across maintenance or operational, I wanted to give you the function and now the object. 57 would be any fixed assets or anything that is depreciable. Depreciable? I don't know if I'm saying that right. So there's your 100%.
So the 23,
Okay.
so the SCG was 16, so the 23 is from
Oh, hold on. So what do you mean the 23?
the 23 million that you had
23 million is the operational budget.
the
That
operational.
is
but
not the SCG. So
Uh-uh.
the SCG,
was
the next
the-
slide is 16,566. So I took the salaries here, 64% of the SCG, but only 45% of the entire budget. I'm gonna try to zoom a little there.
And where do we get the 23, like from the 16? Where does that money come from? I'm a
I
little-
know, but I can't go back and forth. Thank you. Thank you.
So the
I don't have a
grand total
clicker.
is 23,000. I
23
see
million.
that, but is that
23
carry-
million.
is that from care? We had some that we carried
There's-
over. or-
7 million cash balance. There are other, we have USAC, Andrew gets money that goes into their, not remembering right now, insurance recoveries, if we sell property, there's a lot of different buckets of money that go into the operational budget. So that's against the SCG. I wanted you to see the difference. So the full budget is not, it's not as dire, but of SCG, we're at 90%. So we're working on increasing the SCG diligently. Ask Elsa.
So out of that 23,000, how much are you, like you said, we had about 7 million carryover, correct?
Yes, so I will be presenting the
Oh, okay.
budget in just a month.
Oh, okay.
So salaries and benefits, 14.8. So that's across all functions again. Sped, these are numbers I've pulled before. I plugged them in. I didn't know if you'd want to see them. I can send this to you. This is a general description of what is included in here. And then athletics activities, right at $1 million. Bilingual program, again, we saw the SCG generates 1 point. Oh, wow.
So that's the one we're hoping.
No, 400,000 now. I mean, our bilingual went really down. So we're a quarter. We're funded a quarter right now until we get this data corrected. Yes. CTE, I've including ag, so we've budgeted 653. And this is multiple object codes, multiple functions, just tying the program code to this. Technology software, that's both. Again, we have had COVID money for several years and all of our software has come out of federal funds. The money's gone, so I am increasing the line in operational to cover that software. We are looking to make sure we're utilizing the software. We're looking at reports that it's being effective before we renew any software. Instructional materials, dual credit supplies and materials. So anything that's going to the classroom, so up in the 1,000 function, supplies, materials. There's also a classroom code now, classroom materials code. Adopted, other textbooks, dual credit, we're right at $1 million. And then your elementary fine arts, which again is more than we generate in the SCG. And that is all I have for this presentation. So now I can share on, if you want to flip the page, there's if I can share this. I want to make sure. I'm gonna have to here. Okay. So if you want to look at this page, in your book, it's kind of zoomed in for you. That side by side shows you everything that's on my spreadsheet. So this is a summary for you. Okay, and that means legal paper, not anything else. So salary expense again, just the salaries, not including substitutes. Here's our substitutes, additional compensation, overtime, degree stipends, and then ELTP or additional days, the extra 5 days. That's an old word, I guess now. They've kind of changed the way they're
Degree stipends are yearly.
Yes, so anyone in a position that does not require the degree, that has a degree, we try to compensate that. Total salaries compensation, ERA, these are all of the benefits. So we've got 4.2 million in benefits. This is a % of salaries. So I don't know that that's helpful. That's what's been on the form. I've left it there. I tried to give you more information in the other report. So this is just line by line by the object code for the 5 3s, 5 4s. And then here's the buildings, buses. We typically do have a bus en route. So we have purchased cameras or air conditioners. I mean, things like like that. We received some money to cover that from PED, but it's never enough.
Did we ever get that bus?
We are waiting on two of them. Two are still out. Technology related hardware. And here's the, okay, total expenditures is the 23 million. Revenue sources. Unrestricted cash, interest on investments, contributions and donations from private sources. We typically receive that. That's what we received this year. I budgeted the same. These are your actual expenditures and revenues from this year. This is what we're projecting for next year. I do not know of any prior year expenditures that should be refunded to us. Neither does Shelley, so we left that at 0. We have indirect costs.
Got it, turn that up, excuse me.
Governmental agencies, this is a big influx of funds. This is from our grads program, which is nice. Indirect cost on our federal grants is 4.98% next year. It's been 3.69 and lower every year, so that has increased. That is based on the amount of money we spend in specific functions. And then capital contributions, USAC, which is the E-rate money that Andrew gets to work on technological items. So what we do to build this budget is we take the expenditures from the current fiscal year, we add, bless you.
Bless you.
We add all of the revenue and we get a balance. That is our excess revenue. That becomes our new unrestricted cash balance moving into the new year. So I've
The state will make some good money if they ever did those sweeps again.
So we're
That's not gonna
balanced to 0. The next pages that I have presented. Actually, they're the entire budget.
What did you guys budget for legal last year? I know last year you spent 87,000. Did you budget
I
the same?
probably 100. I'm not sure. I could look real fast. Legal. I just hid those columns.
Legal is on the page, 150,000.
150,000 this year. Last year you spent 87. I'm just wondering what you budgeted.
I had budgeted 150,000 last
okay.
year. I just budgeted it. Again, we have $7 million in a cash balance I have to budget, and we cannot budget that in salaries and material, or salaries or benefits. Recurring expenses. So that is all of the funds that, it's not every single fund because some of them have gone away. So that was pulled out. What I've given you is what will be uploaded on Monday. We are, Mike, I am not sure if I remember to take out 27127. But we have received conflicting information from PED on the community schools grant and how much money that is or is not. And we will not be uploading that tomorrow until we hear more. We determine what we're doing with that.
So for next year, we won't have a balance? Is that what you're kind of predicting, or how does that?
You have to budget 100%.
100%, right?
Yes.
But usually we end up in the years past, 6-7 million,
Yes.
usually.
Yeah, 5 to 7.
5
I
to
mean,
7.
this is,
It just depends.
again, I'm mixing up our finance committee conversation.
Oh,
The
okay.
last meeting. So we did meet with the finance committee to go over this. And, we had a cash balance in Medicaid that we cannot spend on much. So we spent that on counselors and we increased our cash balance by doing so. But they have been moved back to operational because we spent that down. The Southwest RAC has kept us whole. They've increased our budget to remain the same. And we are working with the SPED department and payroll to make sure everything is reported correctly and we're billing correctly.
But of course.
That is all I have. I believe. Or did I?
Okay, so I believe we're. Mr. Chavez, anything else with item number 9?
No, that's all the information that we have, unless you have other questions.
No.
It's something that, we have to get in.
Okay,
And as I stated, it's something that we're gonna continue to work on. The last update that I got on some of the revisions that we're working on today is that they're already seeing the numbers change in Nova. And as far as SPED. And so that's the big one. That's the one that's really impacting us the most. And so we need to make sure we get that one right. And so we're hoping that at some point in the very, very near future, we'll get issued a different 910B5 with all the revisions that we have submitted. And then we'll continue to, work on the budget. It makes it a little more difficult, a little more, but we have to do what we have to do to make sure that we get, the money that should be coming to our district. And so more to come on all that. Like I said, I'm hoping that by the June board meeting that we will have
Some answers.
everything resolved by that point.
okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the operating budget for 24-25 school year.
So seconded.
Moved by Member Garay, seconded by VP Gonzalez. Okay, I will call for an individual vote. If you are in favor, say aye. If you're opposed, say no. Member Garay,
Yes.
VP Gonzalez.
Aye.
Secretary Legarreta.
Aye.
Member Montes.
Aye.
Myself, President Marquez, aye. Motion carries by 0. It is approved operating budget for 24-25 school year. Okay. Yay. Item 10. Anybody want to make a motion to
So moved.
adjourn?
Second.
Okay, moved by Garay, seconded by Montes. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say no. Aye.
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 Motion carries. Adjourned.
Anybody making red enchiladas? Just throwing it out there.
My panel said I was okay with that June 2nd.
Oh, there's anyone.
I made red chili with pork.
Second or